Good evening, everybody. DM here from That Wrestling Show. Normally, you would get the next episode of That Wrestling Show right here on YouTube, but unfortunately, there hasn't really been a whole lot of news going on in this week, in the week of professional wrestling, mainly because it's all about the Royal Rumble. It's mainly about spoilers, it's surprise entrants, and all information that we already know. So we're not going to get a episode of That Wrestling Show this week, again, because I'm not going to read out spoilers and I'm not going to talk about stuff that we already know. However, I will decide to do a kind of a prediction kind of thing as we head into the Royal Rumble. I will be there live with BM, and we're going to have a hell of a time. We're going to try to get there early and see if we can debunk a couple of things and have a grand old time, to be honest. We're going to try to avoid spoilers at all costs when we get down there. Hopefully avoid all the smarks that are going to try to ruin it for everybody and say, oh, well, Christian's coming back, or, whatever. Not that he is coming back, but you know how, people are. They tend to want to ruin everything to make them sound better. Which actually kind of annoys me lately with smarks. They go out and they say, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And while it does happen, or sometimes doesn't happen, they tend to get a little defensive about it. And, you're just ruining it for everybody else, to be 100% honest. And I'm kind of tired of, hearing that, seeing that, and not necessarily being a part of it. Because, there are certain storylines that, you see coming, and you kind of know how it went the first time and how it possibly could end. So, again, I'm going to avoid spoilers altogether, and just if anyone says anything about, The Rock's going to win, or anything of that kind of nature, because, they have documented proof that it's going to happen, I'll just punch them in the face. So anyway, here is the card that we are being presented here for the Royal Rumble, and of course they could all change because cards subject to change. The first one that at least I have here is U.S. title match, Antonio Cesaro going up against The Miz. And, while Cesaro is perhaps an up-and-comer and a rather strong guy, and actually quite entertaining to be honest, he's kind of an un-American American right now. He's going up against Miz, who kind of got the pat on the back from Ric Flair, who I think we're all kind of second-guessing. In fact, I think Flair's even starting to second-guess him a little bit. Is this going to be a bad match? Yeah, no, I don't think so, because, I'll be honest, Cesaro's the one that's going to carry it. Miz will have, the cheap pop, and, he'll do his thing, and he'll try to wrestle him. But Cesaro, in the end, he's really impressed me lately. He's got power. He's got a pretty good amount of speed, to be honest. He's got a pretty good striking game. I really like Antonio Cesaro. He's been a hell of a champion so far, and I say Cesaro is going to end up taking it over The Miz. The second match that we have is Team Hell No going up against Team Rhodes Scholars for the Tag Team Championships. Now, while Team Hell No definitely has the power and technical game from Kane and Daniel Bryan, we definitely have Cody Rhodes, who's kind of the unorthodox style with his high-flying prowess, and we have Damien Sandow, who pound for pound could probably out-wrestle some of the guys on the roster. There are some people who say that Team Hell's No time has come, and to be 100% honest, I'm a big fan of Kane, I'm a big fan of Daniel Bryan, I'm a big fan of Cody, I'm a big fan of Damien Sandow. After what we saw on Monday Night Raw, Team Hell No is going to retain. I do kind of wish, though, that this whole Dr. Shelby anger management kind of crap, I kind of wish it came to an end, because I'm so used to... I was raised on Kane old school way, where he was a monster, he came down to the ring, he destroyed stuff, and he left. And now he's, again, he's gone the PG route thanks to, with the way WWE's been booking lately. And while I can't discredit him, despite everything, I think Team Hell No is going to retain. If anything, they're going to drop the titles at WrestleMania. That's kind of the route I see them going. Next match we have here on the card is the World Heavyweight Championship, which is Alberto Del Rio versus The Big Show, and it's supposed to be Last Man Standing. Now, I know we've already seen this match on SmackDown, and that's how Alberto Del Rio was able to get the win, but this is on pay-per-view. So many things could happen here where Dolph Ziggler could cash in right after the match and beat Alberto Del Rio for the title. A Big Show could win, and there'll be no cash in. Del Rio could win, and there still won't be a cash in. Because Ziggler's already in the Royal Rumble as number 1 or number 2. But it is possible he might want to get the world title at least under his belt and kind of go from there, and then we'll have champion for champion at WrestleMania. It's not going to happen, but it's just an idea. Anyway, back on topic. Big Show lately has been having a lot of good matches, whether it's been with Sheamus, whether it's been with Alberto Del Rio, whether it's been with Brodus Clay, whether it's been with CM Punk. He's had a really good stellar year, if not in the ring, on the mic, and if not on the mic, in the ring. He's really been given the front door, and he's been busting through it, giving us quality work, which is something for a big guy you really don't see these days. Big Show has been a threat. He's been a monster, and even when he loses, it's got that believability that the guy got lucky beating him. Alberto Del Rio as a face, I'm not sure how the hell this works. I'm a big Alberto Del Rio fan. I've always been a big Alberto Del Rio fan. I think he plays a better heel than he does a face, but he's over with the fans. And, I'm okay with it. I prefer him as a heel, but I'm going to give this face thing a little bit of a push because it seems that the fans want it, the fans like it, and, you can't argue with what the fans like. Who's going to pull this off? You know what, again, I'll give it to Alberto Del Rio. What I find interesting in this whole thing is the whole Rey Mysterio thing. Whether it's backstage politics, whether it's family issues, whether it's give or take whatever you want to say, something happened, and I'm gonna say this until they disprove me. Alberto Del Rio became a face very quickly. It was kind of like the Miz turning face very quickly. Something happened, and someone was supposed to be given the ball, and plans fell through, and unfortunately, Del Rio's the one that has to pick it up, and he's now a face. The weird thing, though, is you have Alberto Del Rio facing off against John Cena in a match at Monday Night Raw, and then a week later, he's a face, defending the Mexican people. That's kind of strange. It's kind of weird, but again, I'm going to give this Del Rio push the face push a shot. He's a world champion. I'm okay with that. It's going to be a decent match. It probably has the least amount of intrigue because he just won the title. But, Del Rio's an entertaining guy. Big Show's an entertaining guy. And I have a feeling that it's still going to be a decent match. Alberto Del Rio retains the title. Now, the big money match that everyone's talking about, CM Punk going up against The Rock. Oh, yeah. Well, this has me split on several levels. I'm going to just go briefly and say that The Rock has really not done a really good job promoting this match. And this is just from a personal standpoint. You can disagree with me if you want. That's perfectly fine. You're entitled to your opinion. CM Punk has sold this match to be one of the biggest matches of his career. If he beats The Rock, he is legit. And not to say that he hasn't been legit for the last 430 days or whatever it is. Actually, it'll be 330. It'll be 434 if he wins this Sunday. If Punk defeats The Rock, it makes him absolutely legitimate because that's a guy that's been essentially untouchable. I've never been a big fan of The Rock. I've never cared for The Rock. I'm a wrestling fan. You can talk all you want, but if you can't wrestle, I honestly don't care. Again, I grew up on guys like Rick Steamboat, like Randy Savage, like Ric Flair, on Bret Hart. You didn't have to talk, you just had to know how to wrestle, and that's what sold me the most. And Rock talks a big game, and the last couple of promos against Punk, he really hasn't hit the mark. It wasn't until Monday where he stood there in the ring and said, free at last, but again, it's been very cheesy. The Rock is nothing more than a catchphrase. He's nothing more than just running through the motions, saying his old shtick. And personally, I am not interested in The Rock at all. CM Punk, however, has definitely carried his weight. He said unlike being a movie star, unlike entertaining the fans, he's here to fight, he's here to wrestle, he's here to be the best, and he's going to beat the best to prove it. promo right there. What more do you want? The Rock's gonna, make fun of you and call you sugar tits or, monkey fat or, any other stupid sophomoric name. The way I see it, CM Punk is being serious and cutting a serious promo, and The Rock is making fart noises that make the people giggle. And that's the only reason why he's over. And yes, of course, he's The Rock. He's a big star. Yeah, I get that. But to be 100% honest, if Punk did not have any promos, this match, I don't think the hardcore fans would really care, to be honest. Again, I could be wrong. I've never been a fan of The Rock. I've never cared for the guy. And here's where we get into the nitty-gritty. CM Punk has to win. This is a must-win situation. What I mean by must-win, if he loses, everything he says or has said is all for nothing. All of this build-up, all of this time that they've spent building up Punk has gone to nothing. Now, I know that there's a lot of people on the internet, and there's so many sources and rumors saying that Rock has been guaranteed this title. I think that's the wrong decision. I think that anybody who shows up part-time should not get a title. Brock Lesnar should not get the title. The Rock should not get the title. If Stone Cold Steve Austin showed up, he should not get the title. If Undertaker came back, he should not get the title. Part-timers do not deserve the title because they're not going to do anything with it. Just hold it and say, look, I'm the champion, and, leave. The title belongs to the guy that's going to be your poster boy or your anti-poster boy, the guy that's going to lead the flagship or bring the flagship down and be the talk of your main events. And unfortunately, even though The Rock has a lot of star power and a lot of mega power and he has the fans in his hands, yes, I'll give him that. Personally, I do not feel that someone who's not going to be committed to the company should not hold the major title belt. I think it's an insult. I think it's repulsive. And I think anybody worth a damn... I'd rather see that belt on Cena than on The Rock, because at least we know Cena will be on Monday Night Raw, and at least will be on the pay-per-views, whereas we won't see The Rock for 3, 4, 5, 10 months, at a time. Who's going to win? Again, everyone says The Rock's going to win. It's going to be Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania. I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. Call me a fool. Chances are I'm wrong. But I think Punk is going to take this. He's going to pull this off, defeat The Rock, and become legit. And he's going to hold that title until WrestleMania. They've spent way too much time and way too much energy promoting this and talking about his title reign and booking him to be this unstoppable champion. They need to continue doing this in order to make this believable. If they just give it to The Rock, the fans will pop until Monday, and they won't care. I'm dead serious. They need to... This is just me, again, just speaking from a fan's perspective. In order for this to work, Punk has to win. The moment Punk loses that title to a part-time guy that's not going to put his full heart and dedication into it, people are going to be done with him. They're going to be done with them, they're going to throw him away, and there's going to be no point in watching. So that's why I'm hoping and I'm predicting that CM Punk is going to pull this off, because I don't think WWE is that dumb and that callous to cut this amazing title reign. I personally don't think they're that dumb. I don't think they're that dumb, and they're not going to do something that trivial, that stupid, just because, The Rock is a movie star. Again, I might be wrong, but we shall see. Here we go. The big match at the end of the night, which is going to be the Royal Rumble. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that could be thrown in here. I really don't want to have to make a pick because they're kind of obvious. John Cena is the big pick going in. Sheamus is a pick going in. Randy Orton is a pick going in. The surprises that could be there, I don't know. Road Dogg could make an appearance. Honky Tonk Man could make an appearance. It's possible we might get Ric Flair making an appearance. There's a rumor that has been floating around that we might see John Morrison making an appearance. I highly doubt that because he's stuck to the indie circuit right now and won't be coming back until post-WrestleMania if that were possible. There's another rumor floating around that we might see Matt Hardy. I friggin' doubt it, but we shall see. Christian might be making a return. Again, so many people that could show up, that might show up, that can show up. Who's going to win the Rumble? The honest pick is John Cena. They booked it so much around him that he's going to win. And, if John Cena wins, it'll be Cena versus Punk for the title at WrestleMania, and I think that's the better card. Cena versus Rock for the WWE title. Why don't they just say that Cena's winning? I mean, this is WrestleMania 29. They need to book towards a great WrestleMania, not a mediocre WrestleMania. I hope to God that all the rumors and all the gossip and all the backstage stuff that everyone's been talking about since post WrestleMania 28, I hope they're all false. I hope that WWE shuts the rumors up and shuts the dirt sheets up, because this is the one pay-per-view where I do not want the dirt sheets to be right. And if the dirt sheets are right, I hate to say this, but it's going to be a very painful WrestleMania to watch. And that's going to do it all for That Wrestling Show, a Royal Rumble preview and prediction. That's what I'm going to do this week because, again, I'm not reporting on spoilers. I'm not reporting on the Fan Fest. I'm not reporting on anything like that because I refuse to report on garbage. Not a whole lot of news right now other than Jake Roberts is seeking money for shoulder surgery, but that's about it. Those of you going to the Fan Fest on Saturday, unfortunately, I myself will not be able to attend, and neither will BM due to work commitments and other prior engagements. However, we will be at the show on Sunday, and those of you that do not have tickets, I have been told on decent authority that there is a possibility you could still get in, even though they say the show is sold out. Don't believe it until you get there. You can still probably get some cheap tickets or standby tickets, so give it a shot. Worst comes to worst, at least you'll have a good time at the Royal Rumble because WWE always they do a decent job with their pay-per-views, especially when they go into, hole-in-the-wall places. Phoenix, Arizona has become a wrestling hotspot lately, so hopefully they put a good show out there this Sunday. And that will do it all for this week, and I will see you all next time.